I just made a homemade roasted tomato soup. The oven's doing the work, adding so much flavor, so I'm gonna take you through all the steps to show how you can have a rich, delicious, full of flavor tomato soup just like this, from my kitchen to yours, so let's go. It's soup season, one of my favorite times of the year, which can run all the way from fall until spring. I love soup, I do it through summer. And this is a roasted tomato soup, and I'm really using my year-end tomatoes. So I'm going out to the garden and still using the tomatoes I have. But what's great is since we're roasting them, you can use any tomato, but I think the key here is a plum or Roma type tomato. You know that by the shape of the tomato. See how it's a little bit smaller, it comes to a point. These are a mixture of Amish paste in Roma. Amish paste are what we always can with. And the reason we're doing a Roma or paste tomato is look here. We have less water content in them. Tomatoes have a high water content, obviously. But if you're using a traditional meaty tomato like a Mortgage Lifter, you know, any of those Celebrity, any of those kind of traditional ones, they have a lot more juice and water in them. They take longer to roast, but they also just kind of give you a watery soup that doesn't have good flavor. When you're gonna take the time to make something, I want you to have the most flavor. So some of my tomatoes, when it gets to your end, they don't look the best, and I want you to see that. Some of these have been split. Some of them I had to cut off quite a bit of the top on, you can see, because they get yucky, they get gross. I mean, look at some of the pieces. I'm like making sure I get off all. So what we're doing is we're cutting off that core, and if it's split or if there's anything bad on it, I'm gonna take that off, and then I am just cutting them in half. And that's because I want them to split open, and I want them to roast in the oven. So during that time, what's gonna happen is the flavors and the sugars are gonna condense and caramelize. Some of the extra water is gonna evaporate, and you're gonna be left with a condensed tomato flavor. I want this to be very tomato forward, rich, delicious, but also easy. The oven's gonna do a lot of the work. So you can see I have filled this with tomatoes. I quartered some of them that were really big. I halved the others, but now we wanna make sure we add a few other flavor components. One, a celery stalk. You know, I grew up, we home canned tomato soup, a condensed tomato soup, and Mom still does it, and it's delicious. I love it. And it always has a little bit of celery in it. It's blended in so you don't know, but it has just the right amount of vegetal flavor that I think it's kind of a key. So I'm adding just a small amount of celery, so we get a little bit of that flavor. It's gonna be blended in, so you will not really know, but that flavor will be enhanced by it, which I think is really important. We're also gonna put in an onion. So I have one that I have peeled, and I'm just going to chop it up in big pieces, quarters, and we're gonna leave them big. I want them to get dark. I want them to even maybe blacken, caramelize in the oven. This is what's beautiful here is when you're roasting in the oven, you have this option to add flavor that you don't otherwise. So what I'm gonna do here is add my olive oil, which I did not grab. So we're gonna grab my olive oil right over here. We're gonna take it and we're gonna just drizzle it over everything. What this is gonna do is obviously give it more of a proponent to caramelize and roast in the oven. When you add oil, it's that mechanism needed to add the flavor, to add a lot of beautiful richness to it, and that's really what we want here. And with olive oil, we definitely need to season. So we're gonna put some nice kosher salt on here, and remember, tomatoes love salt. It flavors them, it brings out their natural sugars better, balances that flavor, but also in the oven, it will pull out some more of that moisture and help it cook off. A little bit of black pepper too. I think that's essential in a tomato soup. So I freshly cracked this and I'm just putting it all over. And then the one other component that will set on here but will not roast in the same way is a head of garlic. So garlic, when it roasts, if it's done inside of a foil little packet, it becomes soft, buttery almost, and takes on this sweet, delicious flavor. So what I do, and you've seen this done before, I am sure, is I take off just a top little quarter of it to expose all those cloves, set it right here in the middle, take some olive oil, put it right on top. This just kind of gives it a little bit of extra oomph. Then all we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, take the corners up, we're gonna very tightly hold it together, it's foil, so just very tightly make a little pouch, set it right here on it so it can all roast together. Now we're gonna put this in the oven. We're gonna let the oven do the work, and then we just have a few finishing components, including making, a grilled cheese. Let's not joke, we need it. These roasted, and you can see how dark and caramelized I let them get. That is flavor and just beautiful caramelization adding to it. Now, I opened up the foil too, so you could see, look at that beautiful soft garlic. I'll show you in a minute how this just squeezes out. But what I wanna do now, I let it cool off slightly just so I could touch it. You can do this hot, but when you blend hot things, you have to always be careful too, just so it doesn't pop the lid on the blender because of all the steam. But notice, if you would have watched this while it was roasting, you at first see lots of liquid that comes out. It's lots of water. But then as you keep roasting, that water starts to cook off. And then you start getting this beautiful, rich, just gorgeous tomato that comes out of it. Do you see how beautiful they are? I really love this. So what I'm gonna do is just put those right in there and get all those oils if there's any with them. Notice I left the peel on. That's why I'm putting them in a blender. I wanna blend it until it's smooth. That makes a big difference. But what I'm gonna do is two things. I'm gonna add some stock right to it. I'm using vegetable stock to keep this vegetarian if you want to. You can do a chicken stock too, it really doesn't matter. We're at about half the amount because we can always thin it out later. And then, look at this, the garlic. Look at how those just squeeze out of there. The flavor these are gonna have, the sweetness they're gonna have is really unparalleled. After it's all in there, all we have to do is blend it. Now you can do this with an immersion blender, but I do find with the skins and everything and the consistency I want, doing a good powered countertop blender can make a difference. So let's get it going. You can see how it completely changes when it's blending. I mean, look at the consistency. And look how nice and rich that is. So this is where you make it your own. And what I mean by that, look at all that goodness in there. I'm gonna put some of this stock in just to get it out. What I mean by that is you can thin it down as much as you want. I'm keeping this more of a rich tomato soup. So I'm not gonna be adding any cream, any coconut milk, anything like that. What I am doing though, and I'll clean out the blender here a little bit better, is I'm going to stir in the rest of that stock so I can see the consistency of it. And this is kind of how I like it. I like it as a nice kind of thick soup like this. But if you'd want to make it more of a bisque, you could add in some cream. If you want to do anything to it, this is the point where you can, but taste it. The caramelization that happens, they get sweeter. The tomatoes really bring out their sweetness and it's a completely different flavor. I'm gonna put this on low over here on the stove. Let that start simmering away. Put the lid on. And now what we can do is get ready our next step, which is grilled cheese, which I think I'll just make them into grilled cheese croutons because life is short. Let's just combine the two. You could dunk it or you could just chop them up into croutons, right? So to me that starts with really good butter. I'm using a cultured butter and it's salted. I will say it's salted because you know, salted butter, we all know it. It has more flavor. And so that's why I'm using it here. And cultured butter has even more flavor because you actually make sure that milk, the cream that they use in butter, sits for a while, takes on even more flavor, almost like a slight ferment. It's so good. So I'm buttering, as you can see, I'm gonna butter both sides. Two sides, I should say, one side of each. Some people I know like to butter the center too. That's fine, adds a little bit of creaminess. Some people only like to use mayonnaise. I think that's fine too. Use whatever works for you. Mayonnaise does brown beautifully. So I think any one of those can work. I'm using a soft homemade white bread I have. Again, use what works for you. I put the two butter sides together so they don't get butter on anything. And then we can talk about our cheeses and some extra things you can do to make it good. I love to use a pepper jam when I'm making some type of grilled cheese. It's kind of like a gourmet grilled cheese. And it's obviously sweetened, has a little bit of spice, but there's something special it does that just really adds this beautiful flavor, a little bit of sweetness, but also a little bit of spice. So you can do just like, it's a store-bought pepper jam. You can do a homemade one. It's just a way to spice it up. You can even do just different jams and marmalades with grilled cheese. They work really well. It can be whatever you want. And then whatever combination of cheeses you want. I will always do a little bit of a nice sharp cheddar. I think that just adds a nice just sharpness to it. Now you can see I'm shredding it right onto it. Shredded cheese to me is always gonna be easier because it melts quicker. So I have some brie here and I definitely wanna do some of that. Some Gruyere, which I'm gonna just shred that also and put it right on top of the cheddar. So these are the three cheeses I'm using, which again, if you don't like one or if you want a different one, and you have to pile on the cheese. Don't even think you don't. The one thing is with brie, I will just do smaller like cuts of it because it doesn't shred, obviously. I like to leave the rind on, but it has that creaminess in the center that is just gonna melt into this, add a little bit of that beautiful brie flavor to it. So we have that right on top. Look how beautiful that is. So I'm gonna put this in a skillet, let it brown. I'll get ready another one too. And then pretty much we're gonna be ready to eat. I'm bringing the soup over. The finishing, so I let it simmer just a little bit, make sure it was getting warmed through. The only thing now I do is add a little bit of butter. It just It adds a little bit of richness at the end and kind of rounds out the flavors, I think. So we're gonna let that just melt into it here a little bit and bring it all together. And that butter's been sitting out, so it's going to melt into it pretty quickly. And while it's doing that, we have our beautiful grilled cheeses here. So I did two because I thought you would want one. I'm just gonna slice them up into pieces, like I said, kind of like a crouton. It's not a crouton, but let's be honest, like I, growing up, always dunked mine. I don't know if you did, but I always did. And I loved tomato soup, but look at all that melty cheese look at that little flecks and little specks. Oh, that melting cheese looks so good. Anyway, we're gonna let that sit there as I finish this up. And then what I'm gonna do is just serve it up. So you can also, at this point, if you want to, you can put some Parmesan cheese on it. I like to keep mine at this consistency. You can thin yours up so much more if you want to. And I think that's the real beauty of it. But if you want, you can then put on just a little bit of basil, just tear it up. It will brown with the heat, but it will still add that nice fresh flavor at the end, which I think is so good. And then you have pieces of this like crouton that you can kind of just like nestle in. But let's be honest, what I'll do here is I'll take one. I made them big so I could still dunk. Let me also. It's so good. It tastes like a classic tomato soup, not from a can, but more. It has more flavor. It has a depth of flavor. That's from that roasted garlic. That's from roasting the tomatoes in the oven. What's nice about that is it's hands-off time. It's sitting in the oven. You have to do nothing to it. You could do that even before, and then in the evening you could come home, blend it all together, add that stock, and let it just sit and simmer a little bit till it's ready, and you're good to go. So this is a great homemade roasted tomato soup. Use tomatoes from your garden if you have them. Farmer's Market, CSA box, or since we're roasting them, purchase them and make this. You can do a plum tomato, a Roma tomato, and this is what you're gonna get. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you see how easy and fun good tomato soup can be, because believe me, one taste of this, forget any of those purchased ones. So share the video around so other people can see it too. Check my website, wyseguy.com, for this full recipe and instructions. Until next time, have something cozy, maybe tomato soup.